I'm representing data company, data analytics and AI, and today I have a pleasure to lead a debate about one of the hot technology topic in the world, I believe, so AI research area. And today we are going to discuss, is this research going too fast or maybe too slow? I'm wondering what our debate members will tell about it. And also we would like to discuss about all chances, challenges and threats regarding to this area. So this debate cannot exist without our special guest, absolutely experts in this AI area. So let me introduce you, Julie Huxley-Jones, VP Scientific Digital Tech at GSK.
Hello.
Ireneusz Gawlik, Director of Machine Learning Research at Allegro.
Hello, great to be here.
And also, last but not least, Professor Krzysztof Jassem, Director of the Center of Artificial Intelligence at Adam Mickiewicz University.
Hello.
Dear guests, it's a pleasure to have you here. So, as I mentioned, the AI area is one of the hottest topics right now. Plenty of organizations, companies, and universities are researching this area, developing something and implementing in practice, not only in theory, but also in practice. And also using this technology as a competitive advantage. But very often, it's not only a practice, but we can observe that kind of marketing to create a competitive advantage. So maybe let's begin with a short introduction question. How you are implementing the AI knowledge and technology in your organization, how you are utilizing it, what makes the competitive advantage for your company, and also how you're doing an assessment and implementation of the technology in your teams. And before you will start, maybe I will also ask you about one intro question. What kind of business you are representing? Helps us to understand your position, how you are watching on this kind of area. So first, your business, your perspective, and also how you are implementing AI in your organization. And maybe as a first question, let me ask you, Julie, to answer, and gents, please build on that later.
Sure. So thank you, everyone, for joining online. And what a great opening question. I think we could talk about that for an hour. So I work at GSK. GSK are in the business of discovering and developing medicines and vaccines to get ahead of disease together around the world. And so we are in the process of looking for where we can leverage any technology that helps us do that smarter, quicker, and faster. We've been using AI for a very long time in our industry. And so actually, I started using AI algorithms about 15 years ago when I started writing them. So in some ways, AI has been around and is in the blood, in the DNA of most life sciences industries, particularly in how you discover a new potential medicine, particularly in how you understand what are the intervention points to treat disease or prevent it, and in how you design a molecule, a new potential drug to treat that intervention point. But what's exciting about where we're at now is how the world of science and technology are absolutely colliding. And so now we're looking at where across the whole of the company we can leverage AI, particularly with the boom in generative AI, but also in terms of specific narrow language modeling, bespoke modeling, knowledge graph-based modeling, so that we can ask where can we help both discover new medicines, develop them into something a patient could take, test them, manufacture them, sell them, and also optimize how our company runs effectively as well. And so systemically across GSK, we are applying that question. In some areas, we're leveraging commercially available solutions and working with well-known partners to leverage their technology. In other areas, we're doing it ourselves and we're innovating because it does have a competitive advantage, or we see a question that really needs answering that no one yet has got around to solving. And so we balance the concept of designing our own AI solutions where it makes a competitive advantage and leveraging what's available on the market or encouraging and stimulating the market to create new ideas where it isn't potentially a competitive differentiator for us. So snippet kind of examples that we're doing in my organisation, which is the scientific part of GSK. So we're looking at the discovery and development of the medicine. In addition to building on the design work, we're also looking at applying digital twins across how we design manufacturing routes and optimise the manufacture of medicines. We're looking at how we communicate and document. We have to make sure everything we write down is accurate, right, fair, authentic and validated. And so how do we use AI to do that faster and quicker with more precision? As a couple of examples, but we are really trying it everywhere. And so we're being quite dynamic also with where we want to maybe place multiple bets or try multiple experiments to leverage technology rather than not necessarily doubling down on a single way of solving the problem right now when the environment is so dynamic and the solutions are changing so quickly. Maybe over to you.
Right. So I'm leading the machine learning research team at Allegro.pl. That's a company that probably needs no introduction in Poland, as it's a very well recognized brand. But just for completeness, we run an e-commerce marketplace where Poles can shop easily from thousands and thousands of merchants. Also moving now to more countries, expanding internationally. So as with every e-commerce business and especially marketplaces, there is really a lot of use cases for machine learning. And we sort of see two main groups. One being customer-centric AI, so everything that we can do with AI machine learning in order to create better products and better experiences for our customers, and also how we can leverage AI to help merchants win on our platform. But there's also the other group of applications being, how we call it, enterprise AI enablement. So anything that we can do to optimize our operations, to be more profitable, to work smarter. So it all falls into that second category. So I'll just give you examples how we started with the use of AI, and I have an impression that it sort of follows what you were, Julie, saying. That it sort of started with, first very specific use cases, and then it went into this booming or blooming stage as it is now. So the first application that I find probably the most impactful, it's findability. So the use of AI tools to make it easier for customers to find the product that they are looking for. There's quite a lot of research on how to create search engines to respond to user needs, to find the documents or products that they need. And we started off with ranking applications and retrieval applications, which are all now deep learning based, and it's really showing a great progress in terms of the relevancy or relevance of results on our listings as we respond to user queries. Another space is recommendations. Actually, the same techniques apply in this case. The only difference is that instead of looking at the queries specifically provided in text from the user, we're just looking at the history and sort of trying to present the most relevant results based on historical behavior. And there's more and more and more. I could talk about advertising, which is another great example. We also ran so-called PPC ads on our platform, having quite a lot of traffic. But maybe I'll just dive into the other part being enterprise enablement. In here, we always look for ways to automate, to make it easier to run operations. And one great example is automating customer service. Obviously, it's not like we are able to automate all of it, but we can solve a lot of issues, a lot of requests, inquiries coming from our customers with either automatic responses or by helping our customer service specialists to craft the right response. It helps a lot, not only to scale faster, to help to respond to a greater volume of inquiries, but also we see that our customers really love the solutions that we are building for them, because if you have an inquiry, you want to get your answer fast. And that's why we really see quite high and substantially higher NPS scores where we see these AI tools intervening. And coming back to the route that we took and where we are now and what's changing, I see that booming part reflected in how we are moving from having a couple of specialized teams, hiring AI experts, building custom solutions, into the setup where all of the product teams are starting to have enough AI competencies to create products themselves. Obviously, it's not custom-made products. It's more like using tools that are available on the market or leveraging the platform that we managed to build for ourselves, for expert teams. So like sort of trying to approach AI as a black box, and we are in times where it just starts to happen. There's just way more teams working with AI right now. Okay, Krzysztof, to you.
I am the head of the Center for Artificial Intelligence at Ireneusz University, and one of my major tasks is to provide commercialization of the research in the area of artificial intelligence. And there are two ways to do so. The first way is direct commercialization, the other is indirect commercialization. The first type consists in collaborating with commercial units on specified projects. So we collaborate with units like Samsung in dialogue system. We collaborate with Allegro on machine translation. We collaborate with main publishers like PWN, known as Państwowe Wydawnictwo Naukowe in Poland, or Langenscheidt Points, in search engine for limited resources. On the other hand, we don't limit ourselves to natural language processing. We also have an R&D project on sport analysis, surprisingly. As for indirect commercialization, we, as the center, are supposed to found new commercial units, new companies, with the participation of our university. So in July this year, we founded this type of spin-off. It's a spin-off that is participated by Ireneusz University, and the investor is Pons Langenscheidt Publishing House from Germany. And as it happens, and that might be a little surprising, this is the first spin-off in the history of our university. And in this spin-off, we deal with machine translation.
That's very interesting. So thank you for the short introduction. We need to understand how you are watching on this topic. And right now, let me go into the main area of the debate. So let's discuss about chances, challenges, and also threats regarding to this AI technology. So there is a lot of discussion that AI replacing roles. And others are talking that it's rather a supporting to have better efficiency. So where do you sit in the spectrum of AI? Is it supporting people or maybe not? Maybe it's something what we will replace. Who would like to be first?
I'm quite happy to start.
Okay.
I think let's just do a bit of a history lesson. Every industrial revolution has some roles that are replaced and new roles that are created. 100 years ago, you were an expert if you did calculation, and now every leader has a budget, right? 50 years ago, you were an expert in my world if you could use high throughput techniques. Now everybody does it. 20 years ago, robotics. Now everybody does it. So I see very much, as you said, the expansion of AI becoming a tool, particularly in my industry, but actually in a lot of industries. It becomes a tool that can be democratized, that can be leveraged to make not only customer interaction, but also employee interaction a lot more efficient as well. I think there may be some winners and losers in terms of job types. But I mean, who thought prompt engineering could be a career? And at some point, it might not be a career; it might just become a skill. So I think we're in a dynamic where I don't think we know exactly which will be the winners and losers. But I see many more opportunities for people to leverage this as part of their day job rather than truly replace it. And we are humans; we are animals. We still have humanity. And so there are also a number of industries that really haven't been disrupted with technology at all, of any of those revolutions. I gave the example in the chat, but most people still go to a human hairdresser who uses scissors. It's the same thing. So there will be some sectors that may just not have that dynamic, and we will start to see probably a recognition of the preciousness of humanity as a differentiating skill, as well as the preciousness of AI. But that's my provocative point.
Krzysztof, I feel that you would like to add something here.
Well, I agree that artificial intelligence is just another technology. The only difference being that it's really developing rapidly. So there is no difference between artificial intelligence and any other kind of technologies that makes our life more convenient, more comfortable. So the danger is that with the development of any technology, we are becoming more and more lazy as human beings. So this is the main threat, as Elon Musk put it quite recently in his talk with Rishi Sunak. There is a danger that the world soon will be full of abundance of everything, but the people may be jobless. So this is really a threat, and we must realize that as human beings, we are predators. So if we don't hunt, we need to work. We need to move. We cannot afford to live without jobs, without goals, without moving. And it's our duty to also to next generations to work, not to get too lazy, because otherwise the human being species will get degenerated. And I think that we should do it internally. There is no law that will forbid us to use technology. So we must understand it internally, that there are some moments that we should say stop to technology. So when we are at the airport, and we have two ways, we can use the stairs or the escalator. And we know that it's good for our body to use the stairs, because it's just a change between one flight and another. That's what our body needs. And if we still need use an escalator, we do something wrong for us and for the next generations. So again, comfort. Comfort, we love comfort. But before choosing a more comfortable solution, let's think whether we really need them. Do we really need online conferences? Okay.
Right. So a really interesting and valid thought, something I wouldn't strictly think about in context of this question, but definitely on point. So I would disagree with one thing that you said. I don't think that AI is just another technology. It is a technology, but it's going to be incredibly disruptive. And this disruption is not comparable to that many other technologies that I can think of. I can think of steam power, I can think of electricity, and that would be probably it. Maybe a printing press. Yeah, so that's just a rather big deal. And another thing that differentiates artificial intelligence to the majority of other disruptive technologies that ended up in revolutions is that artificial intelligence is targeting a different kind of professions. So steam power replaced human muscle or animal muscle. With artificial intelligence, we are targeting jobs, roles, where creativity and, basically intelligence, what the name implies, is the key factor. So that being said, I'm still on the team that perceives artificial intelligence as helping human and not replacing human. I also think that what sort of surprised everybody is that artificial intelligence is not embodied in robots, or it's not doing work as with every other industrial revolution, where basically the easy jobs or the jobs that don't require too much skill are being replaced. We are now seeing, especially with large language models and the incredible ability to sort of possess the world's knowledge in a single model, we see that the jobs that are being most at risk are expert jobs like coding. Nobody really saw that coming. Coding, legal, medical. And what I see is that we are still really missing supply of people with those skills. So I'm really hoping that, we just need more doctors. We just need more lawyers. We don't need, lawyers that are available just to the richest. So it's going to be disruptive and sort of democratizing as well. So I'm actually quite thrilled about that.
Can I build on that? I think one of the things when you disrupt experts, when you disrupt knowledge workers, when you disrupt people who have done their 10,000 hours and have got really good at that particular skill, and I always like to think, can we free their hands up and release their minds even further? And so I'm absolutely with you. I agree that AI is not like automation. It has got the potential to be significantly more disruptive. And I also like how you're phrasing, this is not something to fear. This allows us to catalyse the potential of human capital we've got. I don't think we're going to get lazy from it. I actually think it provides a foundation for humans to get more creative. It raises the bar, which is maybe where people are scared. But actually, by raising the bar, human ingenuity is unsuppressing. And if that means, as you say, more people around the world can get access to medicine, more teachers are available to educate the world's children, why wouldn't we try and embrace that opportunity? The challenge, as all humans are, is it's fight or flight. The adrenaline's kicked in right now and we don't know how it's going to play out. But I think if we approach it with confidence and optimism, we'll find our way through this.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And as you, Krzysztof, says, humans are lazy, and that's true. But the laziness is, let's say, provoking us to do something more. And as Ireneusz said, achieve a more. And in fact, this destructive technology brings us to the another industry area, which has been mentioned by Julie. So as a humanity, as a whole society, we are able to achieve maybe better and more. Just because we are utilizing this. And because we would like to utilize more, and maybe in other way, I think mostly our listeners are employees. So please let us know, how does the workforce for future need to do regarding AI? On the other hand, I'm pretty sure there are also some employer here. So how they can extend AI knowledge, not only in specific tech teams in their businesses, but also in some other areas, like for product owners, or maybe in different ways. I'm curious, what do you think about that? Maybe let's start with Ireneusz, because you have a chance to be first.
Sure. So from my perspective, work in a technological company with a really huge workforce in terms of IT employees, I see that the disruption is coming. As we just mentioned, coding is going to change quite a lot. So I just view it this way. We just should be very proactive in terms of employing these new technologies to work for us, not to stay behind, because really the supply is not there. It's always a struggle to hire the best professionals. And if we can make them 10, 20, 50 maybe % more effective, it's going to be a big deal for the company, which is sort of it might make or break, or it might bring competitive advantage, but also leave you behind if you don't adopt that. In general, I'm just thinking that all of the knowledge workers are now going to get a lot of tools helping them out in daily tasks. I'm just looking at what Microsoft is bringing and what Google is bringing with Duet, with all the Copilot tools, and it just looks incredible. I'm just looking forward to start using them in everyday work, and I believe that these tools will make my team so much more effective.
If I was to yes and, because I absolutely agree with everything that you've just said, I would build on that with employees. If you haven't used generative AI, get on the bus, start using it. Employers, if you haven't, you could miss out. I think it provokes some new interesting areas. So we mentioned legality. Well, what is IP? There become some really interesting questions around, do you have your own private instance to ask confidential questions, or particularly around legal? Are you going to publish your legal positions and ask ChatGPT to write it for you? Well, you've just probably given your confidential legal agreement away by doing that. So I think it opens up that actually, as an employer, you might find there are new skills that you need to start hypothesizing of what you need to hire for, and take risks as well as table stakes. And then as employees, I think it's about being really curious. I genuinely go learn, go play, go and embrace learning agility, because actually that is the differentiated skill of humanity. And one of the things I look for at GSK, where we have a very large tech presence and we also have lots of other disciplines, is the ability to be a unicorn or multilingual. Every sector needs to learn technology, needs to learn Gen AI, but also the technology and the AI experts really need to understand the sector that they're working in, particularly if they are very, very niche and bespoke, such as in the sciences. Because that is the gap at the moment, is we have really great AI people who know how to build incredible models or know how to build incredible AI. And where it's a generic language, that works perfectly well. Where it's a very specific question, the trick is combining the two together without having to pay for two people. So if you can be both, that will differentiate you in the future.
Well, I guess it's going to be just slightly off topic, but what you just said sort of reminded me of what we do together with Krzysztof in a project for Allegro, being dedicated translation systems that we are building simply because we are operating in this very specific language domain, which might be underrepresented in these generic solutions which are out there on the market. Plus, we are operating in Central European languages, which by themselves are quite underrepresented, and solutions that are out there just don't deliver the quality. So it's a bit more about democratizing access to AI. I think that while this huge move now is in the right direction, we are still really far from real democratization. There's still going to be a competitive advantage for companies, for teams that are able to create private, specific, tailored instances for themselves.
In our Center of Artificial Intelligence, we have a lot of inquiries from enterprises for the possibility of cooperation in the area of artificial intelligence. And only part of these inquiries is responded by us positively. There are a few reasons that our answer is negative. One of them is that the problem does not require artificial intelligence. I can give you an example. We have an equipment for sportsmen, an equipment that has some tensors, and now the task is to convert the metrics from these tensors, the numbers, into, let's say, the distance or other parameters that are needed for sport analysis. So this is the case for mathematics, not for artificial intelligence. Well, on the other hand, there may be tasks which are, at the moment, too difficult for artificial intelligence, that they usually concern soft skills. And there's also another group of tasks that we say that the artificial intelligence will not help, is that someone comes to us and say, well, we are dealing with this and that, and we have heard that artificial intelligence may bring about the reduction of costs. So we don't know how and why we need artificial intelligence, except that we want to reduce our costs. And then we explain that artificial intelligence is just a computer system that delivers solutions to some specific tasks. So, well, the question was, what are the hints for the employers who want to employ artificial intelligence? So there are, in my opinion, two scenarios that artificial intelligence is really helpful. So one of them is when you have such abundance of data that you cannot afford people to analyze it. So this is the first example. And the other condition is that you should know the tasks, or a single task that artificial intelligence is going to help you in.
So for our listeners, if majority of you are employees, as Ireneusz says, it's worth to be proactive. Don't stay behind. It's worth to check, is the technology have an influence on your area? It's worth to be active and do something more, analyze, improve, and implement the AI solutions if it is possible, and improve something. But for entrepreneurs and employers, I wanted to touch one more topic because I'm watching from the angle as a leader of organization. I think majority or maybe all of entrepreneurs should watch on strategy of the organization, how the AI can support the organization strategy, how the AI technology supports our goal. And this is, I believe, key, because if we are leading an organization and we are wondering, should we use and utilize AI or not, as Krzysztof says, we should see to our mission, vision, and where we are going, how we would like to achieve and by what. Is the AI is a tool for us or maybe not? Is this a value or not? So maybe it's just obvious question, but every C-level should answer on that to give a direction for all employees, which should play somehow with this. Okay, and yeah, would you like to add something?
Well, I would really happily just cover what we are doing to make sure that our employees are sort of getting AI ready or AI enabled, and I think that every responsible company should do something similar. And the thing is that basically, as you're creating products, you have lots of product teams, a lot of different initiatives, a lot of different clients. You cannot expect that there's going to be, the single AI expertise center of excellence that will deliver everything that you need for all of your business areas. And that's simply because you cannot really understand all of the businesses, right? So you definitely depend on your product teams, on your business leaders to make sure that that they are chasing the right thing, right? So I find it super critical for every company to have some upskilling program. You just need to make sure that your employees have at least certain confidence in choosing where and when to apply AI to solve their problem. I find it to be really not the case that even speaking to candidates now, as we employ people, it's not the common skill. Like it's not like everybody knows or has experience applying AI tools. So making sure that people understand things like where does the ML component fit into my system, where to plug it in, how will I measure if it works correctly, concepts of data annotation, validation with human in the loop, all of that. It's something that I believe every employee working in building products should understand.
That's very interesting. So let me go a little bit deeper in this area, and let me also ask you, because you are experts and you have proven successes in AI area. So maybe you would like to share some best practices how to build successful AI team in organization. What's the most important building blocks in this? Especially if you would like to have engaged employees and have business successes, obviously.
I think it's actually about what Krzysztof said, which is actually really understanding your problem. No one wants to work on a general thing. People want to solve problems. That's what human ingenuity is all about. So the way we've approached it is to be really, really clear on what the problems we're trying to solve. And then also muster around, is it an AI or non-AI solution? Because you don't want to gild the lily and over-engineer something when actually a quick model would do. And then it's about, for us at GSK, building interdisciplinary teams of people who are expert in what is going to be disrupted, to be the human in the loop, and people who are expert in building that disruption. So that we build an empathy loop between the two. We encourage people to become more familiar with AI, and we encourage the AI to be more familiar with the parts of the business that we're operating in. And by doing that, you can start to therefore disrupt, both if you're working in product or if you are the impactee of the product. And we have both within my company. I also love what you were saying about building workforce optimization. This ranges at GSK from company-wide data conferences, where everybody has a chance to learn and develop and understand, through to being really crystal clear on where are you going to make targeted interventions to grow your workforce, through partnership, through academic partnership, through collaboration, through open innovation across industries, and being super clear on where it's competitive and where you want to really build that depth in AI because there's a competitive advantage. So to go to your point about strategy, it's not only where AI can help your strategy, but it's also about, are you clear about how you're going to deploy AI in your strategy and in your workforce optimization? And I was touched by some of the comments you were making. I think there's so much of the blooming of AI is people don't quite know where to use it yet. You know, it makes me smile. I have lots of colleagues in my industry, whether in GSK or not, asking me, should I be using AI to solve the problem? And when the cost of AI is not necessarily null, although plummeting, and when the availability of AI is expanding, I think we will go through this period where we may have to go through some trial and error of finding out if it is the way to solve it. And maybe some false paths where we thought it don't and it might in the future. So I think I would look at it from a people, process and technology perspective rather than any one of the three in isolation.
There are two elements, in my opinion, that distinct AI technology from the others. The first one is open access to research and the dynamic growth of research in the area. So if you want to do anything innovative in the artificial intelligence, you must be in line with the up-to-date research. So whenever we start any new project, we first start with the research on the topic, and if someone comes to us and refers what he has just learned, he says, oh, this is a paper from 2022, then the audience will say, 2022, but it was a year ago. Oh, then he'll say, but okay, I've got something from 2023 as well. So this is the open research and the speed of research that is collected every time. So this is one component. And the other distinct component is evaluation. In other technological areas, you have solutions which either work or not. So it's 100%. In artificial intelligence, it's always the matter how well artificial intelligence operates, and it's never 100%. For example, machine translation. You will never get 100% correct machine translation. So in order to know whether you are heading into a right direction, you have to evaluate each solution in artificial intelligence. And in order to do so, you need to have a system. You just don't evaluate machine translation on a few cases. This time it worked well, this time it didn't. 2 times this way, 2 times this way, it's 50%, and that's all. You can't do that. You need to evaluate machine translation on thousands of examples. And for that, you need a system. So this is another point. Research, one thing, and evaluation. This is another distinction point of artificial intelligence.
I'd like to build on that just slightly. Previously, I said that it's super important to have that, distributed, dispersed understanding of where AI is applicable. And I think that the 2 skills that Krzysztof mentioned, they sort of apply to different groups of people. I think that evaluation and skills to evaluate, to analyze the results, to understand that the systems that we are building now are non-deterministic. They just give different results, and sometimes you would be surprised where they make mistakes. I think that that's crucial for everybody building products. So it's a fundamental skill. While I also think that the great beauty of AI, coming back to what you said, availability of resources, research papers, archive being a fantastic tool that sort of it gives you access to all of the latest and greatest discoveries even before the conference happens. So researchers tend to sort of pre-release their results even before scientific conferences. So you can be always up to date. But in order to reap benefits of that, you need an expert team. So while it is important for everybody to have some skill and some understanding of where to apply AI, I still think that it is crucial to have a center of excellence in a company where you have actual researchers being able to go through these papers and actually understand how to apply these techniques and these latest and greatest results to their particular business problem.
I love that. Actually, I was listening the other day to a friend of mine who was in a conference in Sweden about a challenge, which is, could AI write a Nobel-ready scientific paper? What would it take? So actually, I'm also excited about the idea of when does AI get to the point where it does quality control itself, which I think is also what people are worried about. But I think if we can direct it, I think that becomes a really interesting space in terms of catalysing human innovation. And I also agree with you, you need a standard bearer because the technology is moving so fast, it's really easy to federate it super quickly, particularly in large organisations. And you need an expert body to say what good looks like. Whilst it's moving so fast, it doesn't mean it's going to solve every problem, but it's going to hold that quality standard. That's certainly something that I see most of my industry all investing in that.
Okay, that's very interesting. And I'm watching on the clock and I see that we are almost finished with our time. So, and I've just utilized half of my questions. But let me ask maybe last but not least question, which responding to threats, which we mentioned at the beginning, what threats do you see in the AI development? And I'm particularly thinking something what has been mentioned by Elon Musk in one of his last message about possibility to impersonating a person, so identity threat through image and self. But maybe you see other threats which you would like to share with our attendees and give us some examples or maybe some areas which we should focus and prevent somehow. And maybe you will suggest how.
Okay. Well, as we are coming to the end, I thought that I could end my thoughts here with a citation from a well-known Pink Floyd song, but I will paraphrase it. So we don't need technology, we don't need thought control, no sarcasm in the classroom, teacher leave us kids alone. So maybe not teacher, but technology, AI please leave us alone. That means that we are afraid of thought control. This is one of the threats. Of course, fraud that you mentioned is another threat. And as I said, making us too comfortable, making us too lazy. This is the thought that you don't agree with me, but this is at least my one point. This is, I would say, my major threat of artificial intelligence. So if you are coming to the end, I will repeat my thought. If you have a choice, use the stairs, not the escalator.
All right. So I'm just thinking that there's quite a few threats, as with any tool, And obviously, we can think of the probably rare cases, but the ones that would be of high impact, like impersonating. But I'm more thinking of the use cases that sort of are borderline. And to understand what I mean, it's just worth to also understand how AI models are being created. There's always some objective that we want to either maximize or minimize. And we just make millions and millions of little tweaks in order to get to the point where we are either in a minimum or maximum of a given objective. And now, whether AI is safe and works for the good of humanity or not, it all depends on that particular objective. And I just see that as decisions are often being made by, not by actual people, more like bodies, like corporations, for example. There's always some objective that might be not really in line, or at least not following the same route as objectives that are good for people, basically. And we don't need to look too far to see examples. I think that what happened with social networks, building engagement and how this engagement is being built, we see that there's something evil about that, powered by AI in majority. But the problem is that it's not like it was built this way. There was no objective to make it look like that. It just happened that it was a sub-objective in order to maximize engagement and daily active users, KPIs, stuff like that. So what I'm thinking is that we basically need to look at all the aspects and have control metrics and look at responsible use of AI, looking at aspects that are relevant to people, that will probably also support what you, Krzysztof, say. So basically, making sure that AI leaves us alone, at least in the space of, for example, mental health, which is super important, and there's a big crisis right now. And for that, I believe that we also need to regulate. Without regulation, like we failed to regulate social networks, we shouldn't make that mistake now.
Here. I think building on, and again, I find it hard to disagree. I think the first one is that I always get nervous when I hear black box. Humans are a black box. We have a 5% error rate. So let's not forget that humans, so both let's not rely too much on technology because that will be probabilistic and may have an error rate, but also remember that we also carry a failure rate too, we're humans. So I think that is an inherent threat of almost not understanding failure on both sides. I think in my industry, being accurate and precise is absolutely critical to the patients that we serve. So also understanding the responsible use of AI there is really important. And in the comments about impersonation, I think cybersecurity, the danger of using AI for cyber threat rather than, or the benefit of using AI for cyber protection needs to be much better understood. I also echo particularly the comment about regulation. We should do no harm with any technology. The intent should always be with positive, and we should use AI just like every other technology to help humans know by enabling the technology to work for us rather than challenge with us. And that's where regulation and intentional development of AI becomes helpful for us.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And to be honest, we see that AI research and development is running. And I'm very excited what another day will bring us. And as Krzysztof says, if we are doing state-of-the-art and preparing an article, if you are using resources from 1 or 2 years ago, we are just in history, not in the life science. So a lot things are coming, and I believe before us. So dear experts, thank you for the whole input. I'm extremely delighted with your observations, with the value which you provided. And also, dear participants, thank you for your attendees. And also, I'm pretty sure you had a chance to reach us via LinkedIn. If you will have any questions, you would like to chat with us, there is always the possibility to use the social network. And I believe that there is an afternoon party, so we probably be there, so you'll be able to ask us some questions and chat. So thank you, dear guests, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.